Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you joining the show today on this beautiful Tuesday, May the 14th. Hour number one's underway. Dusty Dvorak and Teddy Lehman, your host. Drake Dyken back in studio. We're right here at the Trails Golf Club. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous out here. Sun is shining, and it's a great day to play some golf, enjoy golf with your friends, entertain your clients, and introduce your family to the game that you love. The atmosphere at the Trails is friendly, casual, and professional. Beautiful golf course here, very challenging. It's in phenomenal shape right now. New greens last year, really rolling well right now, and the bunkers are in phenomenal shape. They have a Trails membership that is going to tailor fit for any of your individual lifestyle, whether it's individual, family, corporate, junior, or even senior memberships. They are available. Just call up here, 405-360-1920, and ask for Kathy Hess to get you taken care of. All kinds of great things going on, and you can always check them out online, trailsgolf.com.
This hour brought to you by Mitchell's Jewelry, 2201 West Main Street, Norman, right across from Panera Bread. Double the space, double the parking. Tons of room for all of their new, beautiful inventory. Tons of Antwerp diamonds right there on display. Newt Mitchell, fresh off a trip to Antwerp, Belgium, where he hand-selected diamonds from one of the biggest and best selections in the world. They're right there for you. Mother's Day is come and gone, but graduation's still right there around the corner, so make sure you swing by 2201 West Main Street, Norman. Mitchell's Jewelry. Check out all of their great deals.
And we are joined now on the Buffalo Wild Wings guest line, Jason Kersey of the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com, beat writer for the Oklahoma Sooners. Jason, what's going on, man?
Oh, not a lot, guys. How are y'all doing today?
We are doing well, sir. Absolutely gorgeous outside. We're on a golf course. We get to do some radio, so we're fired up, man.
All right, well, sounds good.
So talk to me. Kendal Thompson arrested over this past weekend and gets a PI, and he gets something interfering with official process or whatever it is. How much is this, or is this going to hurt Kendal Thompson's chances or his status with this quarterback race going on into the summer?
You know, it's one of those things that, I'm sure it can't help. These things have typically resulted in one-game suspensions in the season opener when they've been in the off season, and if the quarterback is suspended for the opener, it would be kind of hard for him to, I would assume, to become the starting quarterback going forward. So I'm sure it can't help, but I don't think that this is a reflection necessarily of his character. I think people make mistakes. I think things like that could happen to almost anybody when you're in college, and everybody does things that they probably shouldn't do. So I definitely don't think that this is a reflection of Kendal Thompson's character. I think he made a mistake, and it could be costly, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is just kind of college kids being college kids, wrong place at the wrong time type of deal. I don't think it speaks to him what type of player he is, what type of guy he is as a teammate. But, it's whenever you're looking for a leader on a team, these are the type of things that you typically try to avoid. You got to have a guy there that's supposed to be a model for the rest of the team. I mean, ultimately, whenever you look at this, I don't think it doesn't hurt the standings anywhere with the guys on the team. But as far as a coach looking for a leader, does that hurt him at all?
I would have to think that it does, at least a little bit. I mean, when you have a close competition like this, you got three guys that, by all accounts, were pretty close through spring football. I think that little or big things like this matter. I think when you're looking to try and distinguish people from each other, I'm sure this has to have some kind of impact on the race. I would be shocked if it did.
We saw last week West Lunch transferring. They had a three-man race for a quarterback position. After this thing shakes out, Jason, do you expect any of these quarterbacks, say Blake Bell gets the job, would you expect Kendal Thompson, Trevor Knight, you think there's any chance that one of these guys goes elsewhere, kind of like we just saw with West Lunch?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's possible. I haven't heard anything very firm or anything like that about either of those guys. I think they're going to wait and see how things play out, but I mean, I definitely think that that somebody might decide to go elsewhere to get a chance to play, and I don't think that anybody could blame them for doing that if they don't think they're going to get a shot here, because if Blake Bell's the guy and someone else is the clear second guy, then that sort of leaves one of them. I would think, especially if it's Kendal Thompson who's in third. He's older, so he would definitely probably at least think about going somewhere else. Sure.
Jason, looking forward to next year, whoever's running this offense, it's definitely known out there, and everyone's been critical. We need a tight end that's going to step up. I mean, we didn't really see anyone make big strides in spring as far as what we saw. We didn't get a chance to see a lot of the practices, but there in the spring game, not a huge threat at the tight end position. What's it looking like right now? Is tight end going to be something that we're going to see in the offense next year? Is it going to be more of this 4 receiver looks that we saw down the stretch last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just going to depend on who steps up. Last year they didn't really they had 4 great receivers that they could really rely on, and Coach Stoops said last week they just they try to play to their personnel, and that was what was best for them last year. But this year they have a great group of receivers again, but they're all a bunch of them are pretty young. You have a new quarterback. Maybe a tight end option would be really good for him to have, and maybe some of these guys. Taylor McNamara is a guy who didn't really get a chance last year because he got hurt. Sam Grant redshirted, and Brandon Green's got another year on campus, and he showed some flashes of good things. So I think there's definitely a chance that the tight end could emerge as a weapon this year.
Joined by Jason Kersey of newsok.com and the Oklahoman beat writer for the Oklahoma Sooners. You put an article out about this tight end group out on Sunday, and I was shocked. I should have known. I was at every game, covered the games. Ted and I did, just like you, Jason. Only 3 passes caught by tight ends at Oklahoma last year. You just said it a second ago. A tight end truly is a quarterback's best friend. It's one of the easier passes to make on the football field, not to mention it's a help in the running game. There's so many things. It's such a mismatch on the football field. This is an area, only 3 catches, Jason, last year by tight ends. There's a deficiency, and kind of like you said, somebody's got to step up. If you had to make a guess who that someone might be, who is it? Is it Taylor McNamara? Is it Sam Grant? Is Brandon Green going to be able to give you some quality time? Who do you think does step up and next year steps into this role?
That's really tough to say. I think Brandon Green's got a shot. I would probably go with Taylor McNamara. I think he's got a really big upside. And I think, nobody really knows what would have happened last year if he hadn't gotten hurt so early in the year. Maybe he would have emerged as a better weapon offensively. So, yeah, as far as only 3 catches, it was kind of shocking. I went back and looked each year in the Stoops era, and it's, by far, obviously, the least number of catches by a tight end. I think before that, the low was 18 catches by a tight end. So it really is pretty crazy. And yeah, I definitely think they want somebody to step up. They may need it.
I mean, Trey Miller last year lined up at tight end a little bit. You think they're going to use him there as kind of a last-ditch effort if no one else steps up?
I think they could. He's definitely versatile enough to contribute in a lot of different places, and he did some last year. But I think they like having him in the backfield, and it's an H-back type of deal, and so I definitely think that's possible. That's a good option to have, but I think they'd probably prefer for one of these tight ends to step up.
Nick Saban last week, and even some this week, he's been out. Obviously Bob Stoops made his comments talking about the SEC. It's propaganda from the media about how dominant they are throughout college football. Nick Saban kind of fires back at Coach Stoops. What do you make anything of all this?
Oh, I don't know. It's interesting, but beyond that, I don't really know. Nick Saban's comments. He said what he said, and then he sort of immediately said, hey, we respect Oklahoma and all those kinds of things. So I don't really know what else is going to come of it.
Is the SEC the dominant conference in college football? Is this media propaganda? Is this ESPN's baby that they've built and everybody just latches on? Or do you feel like the SEC right now in college football really, atop the hill?
I do. I think that they are. I think Coach Stoops made some really good points and things worth talking about. But, the bottom line is they've won the last seven national championships, and that's what you play for. You don't play to be the best top-to-bottom conference. You play to win the national championship, and that's what they've done. So I don't see how anybody could say that they aren't the dominant conference right now, frankly.
No, I agree with you 100%. A lot of moves being made out there conference-wise. We talked about this a lot. The Big 12 is sticking at 10. Any chance in the future you see them making a move?
Looking at the way other conferences are going, the Big Ten's adding teams. They say that they're sticking with 10, that they're happy with 10, but you almost feel like at some point they're going to have to expand. But who knows how long that'll be? But it's hard for me to see them staying at 10 for very much longer.
Yeah, I agree. Time will tell. Well, Jason, always a pleasure to catch up with you, man. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful Tuesday.
All right, you guys too. Take care.
Jason Kersey, newsok.com, and also for the Oklahoman. Great job covering the Sooners. We hit on this right as the show ended. Going to talk about this later in the show. Nick Saban had some interesting comments. 5 conferences, 70 teams. I don't really like Nick Saban. Respect him. Think he's a heck of a football coach. Beat us for a national championship. But I got to tell you, I'm agreeing with some of the stuff he's thinking.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There's way too many Division I schools. Because, let's be honest. Once you get outside of the top 40, 50 schools, can they even really compete?
No. And I'd like to see all those teams play each other. We'll talk about that and more as the show progresses. Just getting started on this Tuesday, beautiful day. We're at the Trails Golf Club in Norman. Come on by. Check them out. They've got great membership offers. They've also got the pool opening up here in a couple of weekends. Come on by or give them a shout, 405-364-3790. You can always check them out online, trailsgolf.com. It's The Rush on a Tuesday, and you're listening to the Sports Talk Network.